Okay, boys and girls, today we're going to be working on summarizing numerical data, which is box plots, median, range, mode, mean, which we already talked about it last time with the measure of center. Okay, there is a video there in case you're all lost or you're confused. That homework is already pending. There's also the triangle theorems homework that's going to be pending. All those homework assignments are going to be entered during tutorial. So you need to show up either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Oh, Thursday is probably not going to be tutorial because I have a star meeting, but we'll find out later. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the one that has the data graph. That's the one I'm going to do. Okay, so I open it up. I'm doing one, you're doing one. Like right now in class, so like that, you don't have that much homework, especially since you have a concert, right? So we're going to do most of it here in class. You cannot help each other. I do one, you do one. Okay? The beginning pages, we're not going to worry about it right now. We'll worry about that during tutorial. Okay, we're going straight to the star stuff. The thing that looks like the star. Right there is the first one. Ready? I'm always going to get the hardest one, so I'm going to do number one because number one will be the hardest one. So on your homework journal, go to the whatever page you have empty, brand new page. Okay? And we're going to begin. Please do not lose focus. Yeah, we're almost there. This is almost over. We'll be all happy once this is all over. And when the results come back, some of us will be very happy. Some of us maybe not too happy. We'll find out when the results come back. Hopefully it'll be something happy. I want the kids to all be happy when they come back. Okay? Not regretting, I should have done this, I should have done that. That's what I think. Regret is so horrible. I regret so many things sometimes. You just have to move on and believe that God has good things for you all. Okay? Okay. Number one, what is the mean number of pages? So Mr. Rivera has been telling you that I want a process. So go ahead and put here number one. Okay. And today's date is 4/8/24. And we're still dealing with data. Okay. And it's the one that has a little graph. So it says, what is the mean number of pages? Okay, so I'm going to put, what do they want to know? The mean. That is my what? Question. Question with the first part. What's the next thing that I want always? Facts. So let me go get my facts. My facts are that we have 183, 214, 193, 174. Mr. Rivera told you already to put them in what? So who will be the first one that I should write as my facts? 174. Comma. Next would be 183. Next would be 193. And the last one is 214. And that's what you want to do in the start. You have your own paper. It will be white, not with blank, but it doesn't matter. And you always want to start with my question. What do they want? The facts. What do they want? Next is the strategy. Let's see who remembers. What do we do with mean? It is the average. Good. Whoever said that, that's a good sign already that you kind of know something. Strategy, it is the average. So how do we get the average of the mean? How do we do it? You add them all. You add them all. You can't forget this, guys. As soon as you saw the word mean, I told you to think of your teacher, your mean teacher that gives you your average. And how does he give you your average? You add them all up. And then what do you do after you add them? No, sir. You divide. Fraction bar means divide. Divide by how many? By 4. By 4. So there was 4 data points. If there was 5, divide by what? 5. If there was 6, divide by what? 6. But there's only what? 4. There's my strategy. You add them up and divide by the quantity. Questions with mean. Think of your teacher. Your teacher gives you she do it or he do it? She adds all the grades together and then divide by the quantity. So if she gave you 10 grades for the 6 weeks, you're going to divide by 10. If she gave you 3, divide by what? 3. So let's go ahead and add those on the side. If you're a calculator, you can start punching them in. If you're not, let's go ahead and add them on the side. I'm just going to line them all up. Carefully line them all up. Line them all up. And go ahead and add for me. While you're adding, I'm going to pause the video so I can wait for you. Okay, guys, so you should have gotten the answer of 764. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. Regroup the tens. Then 9 and 1 would be 10 plus 1, 11. Plus 8 would be 19, plus 7 would be 26. Regroup the 2, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 764. So now I know that the top number just became 764 over 4. What do I do now? Bottom out. 764 divided by 4. Put your decimal point. Put your decimal point. Okay? And now, 7. Is that enough? Yes. Times what? 1. Bring down the. Now, here's how the times tables will help you to chart. Listen. You need to know how to make a multiplication chart because like that when you're dividing, look what I just said. 4, we need to get to what number? 7. So then we go to my 4. And if I go to 2, it gets me to what? 8. So I have to stay with who? 1. If I go 4 times 2, it gives me what? 8. So I cannot go to 2. That's why we went with 1. Okay? Now I'm done with the first place value. So now I'll go to the next one, which is 36. Look at the times table chart I get. 4 to get to what number? 36. Right there. Now go to the top. And what's in the top? 9. Did you just hear what I said? What's in the what? Top. So guess what? 9 goes on top 2 here because that's on the top of your mathematics chart table. Now what was on the bottom? Huh? 30 what? Guess what? That one goes on the bottom. Now I'm done with the first one. I'm done with the second one. We go one at a time. 4 is next. Go to your chart and start with a 4. And this is already 4. And who's there on the top?
1.
So guess who goes on the top here? 1. So the mean, the average is 191. That is the mean, the average 191 for number 1. Question with number 1. It is your turn. Mine was harder because it was more bigger numbers. Yours is going to be easier, I hope. The way I did number 1, you're going to try and do number 2 by yourself. I'm going to play a song and you have to finish before the song is over. If not, you're taking forever. Okay? So I'm going to pause the video. Okay, for question number 2, your work should look like this. So I'm going to be pulling out journals. I'm going to go over it. Okay? I'm just going to go over some stuff that I see. So first of all, they mentioned the word mean again. That was a question. Very good for her. The facts, there they are. Okay? The strategy is to add them all up, which she did carefully. You got 425. Then this time she divided by 5. Now last year I had a kid say circle. You said to divide by 4. Why did we divide by 4 over here? Because there was 4 data points. This one has. So you see how she put 4? Okay, it should have been a what? 5. The good thing she fixed it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only thing I'm going to go over with you right now is division, because I still see that kids are having trouble dividing, especially if you're not a calculator kid. If you're a calculator kid, come on guys. Just punch it in. Add them, then divide by what? 5. I need to remember this word for the STAR test. Mean means the average, and how do you get the average? You add them all up and divide by the quantity of the data points. So we have 5 data points, divide by 5. You have 4, divide by 4. You have 3, divide by 3. So the division in mean will change. There'll be a variable. It depends how many you have. Okay? So let me go over divisions because that's what I worry the most. So I'm going to go to the board and divide this one for you all so you can have it in the recording and see how to do this. Okay? I'm going to use it here because I want to show you that the math times table chart can help you. Here we go. So number 2, I'm not going to show you all the steps. We already saw a good journal. I'm going to go straight to the division. So 425, right? That's what you got? Divided by 5. If you're having trouble with division, you better listen. So what I like to do is I like to go, so you don't have extra paper in the STAR test. You can actually get the paper and cover everything, and this might help you. And you can say 5 times what gives me 4. But let me go check my timetable chart that you're going to make. So 5 times what gives me 4? Well, let's see. Can 5 ever give me 4? No, it's not possible. So I'm going to put a 1 on top. 0. Now, some of you like to go 5 times 0 is 0. You can, but you don't have to. Did it work? No. Let's move to the next one. So you move your paper. Now we have what number? 42. I go back to my times table chart, and I'm going to use the 5 and see, okay, let me see if I can get to 42. I get to 40, and I get to 45. So which one should I use? 40. Now you go up, and what do you see up there? An 8. Guess what? That's why we put the 8 on the top, because he's on the top of my times table chart. Now, what's 5 times 8? Well, let me go check again. 5 times 8, if I forget, I'm going to go here and go 5 times 8 was, there's your 8, was what? And where's the 40? On the top or on the bottom? On the bottom, right? So that's why he goes on the bottom here. Because sometimes kids forget, ¿dónde pongo el 8 y dónde pongo el 40? This will help you. The 8 was on the top. I put him on the top of the house. The 40 was on the bottom. I put him on the bottom. And that might help some of you that are having trouble how to divide. I'm done with 2. Move your paper, and guess who's next? 5. So I'm going to do the same thing. 5 times what gives me 25. So let me go to my chart again and see if it helps me. 5 times what? Ah, there he is. 5 times what? Where is he? On top or on bottom? So where does he go? On the top. And who was on the bottom? Who was on the bottom? 25. Close the door, sir. And that's how you should have gotten 85. I don't know how some kids got like 81 point something or like weird stuff. I don't know how they got that. Okay? Question number 2. Question with the word mean. So what's the strategy for mean? Add them and divide by the quantity of the data. So if there's 10 data points, divide by 10. Here we go. The next one. I like to do about half a page per product, but it's up to you. So I'm going to the back of my journal already. Here we go. Okay, let me see which one will be the hardest. I'm going to go with 3. Okay, I'm going to go with 3. Ready? Number 3 says, what is the range of these data points? What is the range? So what's my question? This is number 3. Oh, I'm in a new page, so let's put the date. It's 4/8/24, and we're still working with data. Okay? And the question was what? Range. What's your first job? Put them in order. That's always your first job, guys. Put them in order. So let me go and put them in order. Okay? Help me out. Who's going first?
239.
This will be the facts, right? This will be the facts. Who's the first one fact? 239. 239, comma. Next? 240, comma. 246, comma. 258, comma. 263, comma. Questions? Okay. Let me put what I wrote in case you cannot follow along. That's what I did. I got my facts and put them in order because anytime that you see the word range, the word median, the word mode, the word mean, all those words, it's dealing with data, and we put things in order from least to greatest. Okay, who remembers the strategy when we're doing range? Box plot. Box plot. Box plot. Box plot. Okay? So let's write the numbers again so we can do a box plot. Go check. Ali. Box plot. You're messing around, right? Yes, that's right. Sit right there. How do we start the box plot? We get the first, the what? The middle one. So let's go. A, B, B, C. Who's in the middle? Draw the line and put 246. Now, is that what they're asking us in this question? No. So we're not done yet. How do we find the upper quartile? Now we learn new words. The upper quartile. Let's go ahead and find the upper quartile. So let's draw the box already. And we're going to find this guy. How do we find him? With who? Who do I use? A. We don't use this guy no more. Because he was already used. So we get the median of these two. A. Oh, there's two. So what do I have to do when there's two? Add and divide by 2. So let me go over here. 258 plus 263. That would be 11. That's 12. 521. We're done? No. Then when there's 2 in the middle, we divide by 2. Okay? Listen again. First we found the median of the whole data. Then we find the median of the upper half so we can find the upper quartile. You understand? So we add those 2, divide by 2. It's by times 2, my bad. Okay? That was a 2. That's a 2, I'm sorry. Bring down the 1. That'll be a 0. No, como que 26.5. Okay? Decimal, 260.5. Okay. Let me explain what we just did in case you're confused. And I'm going to be honest with you right now. I'm going to tell you what you're going to do in the STAR test. Ms. Rivera is making you do a box plot to practice how to create box plots. In the STAR test, we see the word range, we're not going to do the whole box plot. Right now I'm going to tell you what you would do in the STAR test, okay? Yeah, we're not put them in, good job. But right now, because we're trying to learn about the box plot, Ms. Rivera is making you create the box plot for any time that you see the word range, I want you to create one. So we can practice. But in the STAR test, or in any test, right now I'm going to show you what I would want you to quickly do. But let me explain this in case the kids are having trouble. Okay? So please listen. When you create a box plot, your first job is to find the median of the whole data, which we found right there. That's why we drew that line, and this is the median. Questions? After we find the median, we're going to find the upper half, and the upper half will not include him because he's already taken. The upper half will include whatever is in the upper part, which we only have how many numbers? 2. So that will become AA. To find the upper quartile, we find the median, el mediano de lo de arriba. Nomás hay 2, pues nomás hay 2. Porque hay 2, we need to what? Add and divide by what? 2. Okay? Why do we need to do that? Because what you're finding right now is who's in the middle of these two. ¿Quién está en el medio de 258 and 263? Well, by adding, dividing by 2, you're going to find out that who's in the middle. 260.5. Does that make sense? Wouldn't he be in the middle? Yes or no? Yes. So let me make this guy bigger so we can see the whole thing. Look. Who's in the middle of those two? Of 258 and 263? 260.5. And how do I find the median of those two? I add them and divide by 2. That's how we found them. So when you go to the upper half, lo de arriba, and you add and divide by 2, you're finding the median of the upper half, so we can find the upper quartile. Questions? Okay. So here's what I did in case I'm going to change to another color. So this would be the upper half. And we need to find the median of the upper half so we can find the upper quartile, which is this line, which now is 260.5. Now who's next? The lower quartile. Good. So how am I going to find that? Let me change the color to something else. I'm going to get these. That's the upper half. And what I'm going to do with those two? Add and divide by 2. Go ahead and add and divide by 2 by yourself so we can find who's really in the middle of these two. So the orange right now represents the upper half. The green represents the upper half. My bad, I did it wrong. Let me say it again. The blue is the median, the one in the what? Middle. The upper half is the green. There was 2 data points in the green, so that's why we added divided by 2, so we can find who's really in the middle of those 2. And the lower half is the orange. And there's 2 again. That's why we have to again add and divide by what? 2, because there's 2 again. Now, like I said in the STAR test, if I see the word range, we don't really have to create a box plot. I'm not sure what I would want you to do. So some of you are saying, well, why do you make us do a box plot then? So we can practice how to make a box plot. That's why. Okay? But really, I don't need all the things that I've done so far. I do not need it for this question. Listen again. All the things that we've done so far, I do not need it for this question. Okay? I'm just making you make box plots out of any data to practice how to make a box plot. So lo voy a repetir en español. Todo lo que hemos hecho hasta ahorita no lo necesito para esta pregunta. R.Rivera te está haciendo todo esto para que practiques cómo hacer una, no sé cómo se dice en español, box plot. ¿Okay? Una box plot. So no le voy a tratar de decir, voy a checar cómo se dice y lo digo en español después. No me acuerdo yo cómo se dice box plot. O traducidos también iban así, nada más el puro guapo, pero va a querer decirlo bien, so voy a checar cómo se dice y yo les digo después. ¿Ok? Pero eso azul es median, lo verde es the upper quartile, Lo naranjado, pues está figurando ahorita para que me den el lower quartile. Y nada de esas tres cosas me van a ayudar para la palabra range. Nada de eso me va a ayudar para la palabra range. Nada de eso. ¿Ok? So, nomás estamos practicando para que sepan cómo hacer una. Do you already have it? How much did you all get?
479.
Huh?
239.5.
Look what he said, 479. Why would that not make sense?
Because it didn't divide.
No, but why else would it not make sense? Because it's not in the middle of these two. Is 479 in the middle of these two? No. He forgot to divide by what? 2. So who has the real median of the lower half? 239.5. Good job. So let's put here 239.5. That is called the lower quartile. Questions? Okay. Let me go back to the paper so we can fill it up for me here. So, here we go. Who was in the middle of these two? 239.5. Good job, the ones that added, divided by 2 correctly. Let's label this so we can just practice what we've been learning. This would be the median. Who is this guy? The upper quartile. It's not the maximum, and it's not the upper extreme, it's the upper quartile. And who's this guy? Lower quartile. And the reason that I could not use these two to answer this question, because these two are used if they would ask me for the IQR. You use these two when they ask you for the IQR. They're not asking for the IQR, they're asking just for range. Por eso no va a usar a ellos dos, porque aquí me están pidiendo el rango, no the interquartile range. Que tampoco sé decirlo en español, pero voy a tratar de figurar como se dice. Questions. So, estos tres números no me ayudan para esta pregunta. Si me hubieran preguntado por median, boom, there's the answer. Si me hubieran preguntado por IQR, I would use these two, and what would I do with these two for the IQR? What do? We subtract. We subtract whenever you see the word range. Interquartile range, subtract. Okay. So who's going to help me really with range? Who's really going to help me with range? The maximum, draw your whisker. And who's the maximum here? 263. And the minimum, 239. These two, draw a happy face all the way over here. These two really help me with who? With range. And what would I still do with those two? Subtract. So go ahead and subtract and tell me what the range would be for this problem. I'm making you do the whole thing so we can practice everything. But in the real start, right now I'm going to tell you what I would do in the real start. Okay? Right now we're learning about the box, but that's why I'm making you do the whole thing. If they ask you for IQR, I need the interquartile ranges, the lines here. The upper quartile, the lower quartile, and I need to subtract. But since they ask me about range, sin la palabra interquartile, agarras el más grande y agarras el más chiquito y lo restas. So who can tell me what the range is? 24. Yes or no? Yes. Draw a line. Okay. For the star purpose, now listen to, if this was the star test, listen. Yeah, it's being recorded. Yeah, all this is recorded. For the STAR test. I hope it's being recorded. Yeah. Well, this guy scared me and said it's being recorded, so I'm like, I hope it is. Let me put it now. It's okay, the timer's behind the scenes. Okay, ready? Please listen. If this was the start, here's what I would do. Ready? I would still draw my boxes, but I would not find the median, I would not find the upper quartile, and I would not find the lower quartile because I don't need them. I would just draw the box like this, and what do I really need? The whiskers. If this was a star, I would draw my box still, stick to the plan, draw a box plot. But who cares about these? I don't need these three for range. I do not need those three. I need the whisker in the top one, the maximum, upper quartile, and I need the other whisker, which is who? The lower quartile is 239. It's not lower quartile, it's lower extreme. These are the quartiles. Upper quartile, lower quartile. I do not need them. So listen again. If this was a STAR test, I would not find everything. I would just quickly draw my box, and I don't care about the median. I don't care about this guy. I don't care about the lower quartile. I do not care about the upper quartile. I do not care about those three, because they're just asking me for what? Range. When you see the word range, you should think of the whiskers. Whisker, who's in the maximum? Who's the maximum? 263. Whisker, who's the minimum? 239. Other words, upper extreme, lower extreme. I need these two to find what? Range. And what am I going to do with those two, Dylan? Because you're staring somewhere else? Subtract. I don't know why we subtracted wrong, some of us. What does the 3 have to become? 13. And the 6? 5. What's 13 minus 9? 4. What's 5 minus 3? 2. What's 2 minus 2? 0. What's the answer? Kobe Bryant's number, 24. Okay? Questions? So do I have to find everything? No. Do I have to find everything from Mr. Rivera? Yes, because I want you to practice how to create a complete box plot. You understand? So in the STAR test, all you need for the word range is the largest and the smallest. So the one you're going to do right now, you don't have to do all of it. Just answer it quickly, what I just told you, like it was the STAR test. So go ahead and do number 4 by yourself. I'm going to play a song that is a way faster song, because I tell you, you don't have to do everything that I just did. Just do it like it was the STAR test. You draw your 3 points, and which one do I need? The last one. I don't need nothing, just the whiskers. With the, sir, you're not listening, that's why. You're probably not finished before the song is over because you're not listening. Here we go, number 4. I'm going to go over it with you all. Number 4, I'm actually going to do the whole thing so you can see what I meant. Okay? I have somebody out right now, you can go. Listen. When I did the example, I made you get the median. I made you get the upper quartile, which is the median of the upper half. I made you get the median of the lower half. And the reason I'm making you do all this work is because eventually you're going to have to do all this work because they're going to ask you about the IQR. Okay? Then the whiskers gives you the maximum upper extreme. The whisker gives me the minimum, the lower extreme. And that gives you the range. So in question number 3, I made you get everything. But then I said it's your turn. Question number 4. I said you don't have to get the whole thing, just get only what you need from the box plot. So here we go. They ask you for the range. Yes? Yes or no? Then they gave you the facts. Give me the facts and give them to me in order. 28, 30, 32, 38, 45, 47, 47, 53. Okay, so they gave me all that data. Strategy. Strategy, we're going to make a box plot focusing only on the whiskers. When you see the word range, you will make the box plot, but we only focus on the whiskers. That means I don't have to go A, B, B, para nada, ¿para qué? I don't have to do that because I'm just focusing on the whiskers. So I'm going to draw my first line in the middle. I don't care about him. I'm going to draw the other one. I don't care about the lower quartile. I don't care about the median. And I don't care about the upper quartile. Listen again. Median, I do not care about him. Upper quartile, I don't care about him. Lower quartile, I do not care about him. Why? Because they're just asking for who? Range. And when they're asking for only range, I care about the whiskers. So draw a whisker. And who's the first upper extreme? 53. That's called the upper extreme. That's called the maximum. Am I recording already? Yes, good. Okay. And I care about the other whisker. And draw your line there. And who's the lower extreme? 28. That's all I care about. The upper and the lower. Circle them right there. I just care about them. Because they just want the word what? Range. So what am I going to do with these two? Subtract. So I go 53 minus 28. Can I subtract 8 from 3? No. So this becomes a 4. This becomes a 13. 13 minus 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. ¿Cuánto es? 5. 4 menos 2. 2. What's the range? That's the range, 25. That's it. You did not have to do everything that I made you do here because this was to practice everything. This is the way that I would do it in the star. If they just want range, I don't care about the whole box plot. I just care about the whiskers because I'm just going to use the upper extreme, which is called the maximum, and the lower extreme, which is called the minimum. And I'm going to what always? Subtract with the word range. Questions with range. Questions with mean. What was mean? Average. And what do? Add and divide by the quantity. What's range? The whiskers. Go to the upper extreme, maximum, the lower extreme, minimum, and we'll subtract. We can't forget that in the start test. Okay? I need to know the vocabulary, the language of the discipline. Okay? Okay. Now look at this guy. This guy I have to be careful now because they do mention the word interquartile range. So do I need to make the whole box plot complete? Yes. Why yes? Because it said interquartile. Esto no es lo mismo que la otra. Mira, esta nomás dice la palabra range. Este dice interquartile range. I need the whole box plot now. And that's why I was teaching you how to make the whole box plot because eventually you're going to get some of these. You understand what I'm saying? This question is not the same thing as this question. When you get this thing, you're going to get your highlighter, change it to a color that's more visible like green and highlight range. And then we're going to change it to maybe pink, purple, whatever that color is, and highlight that guy. So you can see the difference. Range is dealing with the whiskers. The maximum and the minimum subtract. Interquartile range is dealing with the inner quartiles. the upper quartile, lower quartile. So I need the whole box plot now. Questions? Okay, here we go. Now they didn't give you data, they gave you already the whole thing. Just fill it up. That's what they gave you. So bien padre. Number 5. What's the question? What's the question? What is the interquartile range? Okay, so let me go to my paper. I don't have space anymore, so I'm going to another page. That's why the journals, we're going to use them by now completely. Notes or homework, doesn't matter which one you use as long as you keep the date going. 4/8/24, we're still dealing with data. And now we're doing number what? 5. And what was the question? Interquartile range. Sometimes they'll use, here. Sometimes they'll use, instead of the whole word interquartile, they'll use this, IQR. Questions? Interquartile range, sometimes they'll say, what is the IQR? It's the same thing. Okay? Any questions? Good. What's the next thing that I want? Facts. So now, the facts is that they told me that the least value is 14. So they didn't really give me data. They're already telling me, hey, you know what? 14 is the least value. Yes? Then they told me that, ¿qué más me dijeron estos? ¿Qué más me dijeron? The first quartile is 21. Okay. So 21 is quartile 1. Which we call lower quartile since you're 1. Por eso es bien importante en el start no estar atacando los problemas. Primero, let's analyze the information. Let's make a plan out of this. You can't just attack, because if you just attack, you're gonna be lost. You need to get the stuff and try to remember qué me aprendí en la clase, qué hice en la clase, qué estudié, qué dijo el video. Okay? Who's next? Who's next that I need there? The median is who? 28 median. Do I need to put another word for that, or I just call it median? Just call it median. Why did I put another word for this guy? Because quartile 1 is called the lower quartile because he's the smallest one from the quartiles, the interquartiles. Okay? A lot of vocabulary in data. Third quartile is 30. This is quartile what? No, quartile 3. And it is 30. And what would I call him if he's quartile 3? Upper quartile. Quartile. Since you're 3, you're the upper. Quartile. Since you're 1, you're the what? Lower. Question. And also look at the numbers, the data. 21, he is lower than 30. That's why he's called a lower quartile. 30 is higher than 21. That's why he's called the upper quartile. Now, this guy's not a quartile. He's the least value. Vamos a ver qué más me dieron. Greatest value. Okay, greatest value is 40. ¿Se me olvidó qué decía? I forgot. Yep, 46. Who's that guy? Greatest value. Since you already got there, very good, sir. So the least value, we learned that that's the minimum. Also called the lower extreme. See, all this is vocabulary, guys. The greatest value, ¿quién es ese? Maximum. And what's the other word for maximum? Upper what? Extreme, extremo, el más grande, el que está más extremo de los grandes. Questions? I got all my facts, yes? What's the strategy? What's the strategy? Box plot. A complete one or no? Yes. A complete one. Now, we don't have to find nothing because they already gave it to us. So let's start with the one that's going to be inside the box. What number would be that one? 28. Questions with that number? Let's do the upper half. This is the upper half. What number would be the upper half? 30. Good. Let's do the lower half. Who would be the lower half? 21. Let's do the whiskers. Who's the maximum? Let's do the other whisker. Who's the minimum? With this data, that they were nice, we didn't have to find nothing. They already gave us everything on the facts. I could draw my box plot complete. Questions? Now let me answer the question. They want the IQR. So let me see if you're listening. Do I need the 46?
No.
Do I need the 14?
No.
Do I need the 28? Do I need the 30?
Yes.
Do I need the 21?
Yes.
IQR, I need the inter quartile range. Okay? And what am I going to do with these? Subtract. 30 minus 21, so we can find the IQR. And how much did you get? 9 would be the IQR. 9 is the IQR, which is called the interquartile. That's the IQ range. That's why we still subtract. But instead of subtracting the extremes, we subtract the adentro quartile. Okay? Okay. Now it's your turn. You will do number 6. Same way. Okay, number 6. And we're playing the next song.
Chicos, no puedo creer que esto sea Ashley. La tienda tiene un look. Estoy obsesionada.
Okay. 4 minutes, 27 seconds. You better draw the whole box plot, the questions, the facts, the strategy, todo el guato. Here we go. Listen. Have somebody out. Okay. Hey, listen. So your paper should look like this. Let me show you a good paper, a good journal, right here. Listen. So the median was 32 right there. Good job. The maximum was 67. That's the whisker over here, the upper extreme maximum. The minimum was 8. Quartile 1 is the lower quartile, which is this line right here, which should have been 19. Quartile 3 is the upper quartile, which is this line, which is 46. Now, I told you before, but we have kids. I saw several. Okay, this guy here, this one over here, that use these two. When do you use these two? When it says range. This one said interquartile range, IQR. I even said it how many times? Inter, see? Interquartile range, I need the upper quartile and the lower quartile. And what I'm going to do? Subtract. Do you all know why we still subtract? Because of the word range. Whenever you see the word range, that means that it's from here, from one point A to point B. And I want to know how far away you're from each other. But since it says intraquartile range, I want to know how far away is the 19 from the what? 46. If it said the word range by itself, range, then I want to know how far is the lower extreme to the upper extreme. How far you're from each other. Wait, I have somebody out. Questions. You can't confuse them. And that's where the studying has to come in. You have to go home today and study the stuff. The homework is done. Right now we're doing the homework together. Okay? I have to go home and study because tomorrow I'm going to probably give you a quiz on anything that we've done right now. And that's how I'm going to know that you watched the video again, you looked at your journal again, and that you're studying this. So you need to study the vocabulary is the key. I need to know who's the range. What do I use when I want the range? I need to know who's the median. Who do I use when I want the median? Okay? And right now, this is not even tough because I already gave you everything. You know when it becomes tough? When you have to come up with a median. You have to come up with quartile 1, quartile 3, the minimum, the maximum. When you have to come up with that stuff, that's when it becomes more complicated. And then go answer the whole questions. Okay? But it kind of upsets me that I just told you, and I was even Scarlett was laughing at me because I kept on saying interquartile, adentro, in, aquí. And we still get kids that want to subtract these two. These two are for who again? For range. And these two? Interquartile range. And this guy? Who's this guy? Median. Let me do it one more time. Who's this one? Median. Who are these? For range. What is he called? No, this is the whisker. What is this guy called? Maximum. And this one is the minimum. And what is this one called? Upper quartile. This one? Lower quartile. And when do we meet the upper and lower? When they ask you about what? IQR. When do I need the extremes? Range. When do I need this line that's inside the box? Median. That's it. Those are the only times that we're going to use this box plot. Now, we're going to have other questions later on about the percentages of things and the spread and the bunch data, but we're not there yet. Right now, I'm just with the basic stuff. Okay? Questions with number 6. And graders. When you go grade, you need to grade this one and the one we did together. Because it's unfortunate that even the ones that we did together, some kids do not even finish that. And that's when I talk to your parents and let them know, look, man, we're doing one together as a class, together we're doing that one, and your kid's not even that one he has complete. I had a kid right now that even that one he missed it. How can you miss that one if I just went over it together, we gave you the answer? Okay? Lend me this, please. So here's an example of what I meant. So this kid subtracted these two. You can see it there at the beginning. Okay? So you see this is a good kid. It's already wrong. But what did he do? He fixed it. He did it again, and so he can know, okay, next time I'll get it right. Next time I need a star test. That's what you do when you miss them. Instead of just sitting there and say, okay, because I missed it. No, go and fix your mistake. Good job, people. Okay, that's a good kid right there that wants to get better. You see, it's good to follow the horse right now, but get up and ride the horse again. Okay? And if you, no, sir, you're not going any further. Good job. Guys, if you miss it, you're supposed to fix it so you know next time, okay, I'm not going to do it again next time. I'm going to get it better next time. I'm getting better at this. No, sir. Maybe you can go and then you're next. There's the wooden pass. My pass, I have it at my house. I took it accidentally on my pocket. The picture pass. Here we go, number 7. And again, they're going to get tougher and tougher, okay? Reload. Okay, ready? They're gonna get tougher. If you're not careful, you're not listening. Okay? I'm doing number 7, you'll do number 8. Number 7 is tougher than number 8. I'm doing the tough ones with you. So I'm out of space. I don't know about you. I'm out of space. I'm going to the next page. Anytime that you go to the next page, you better what? Put the date so you know that we're still working with the same assignment from today, 4-8. The dates are showing fine in the journals now, 4-8-24. We're still dealing with data. Okay? We're summarizing categorical data or numerical data. In this case, numerical data. Okay? Now, this is number what? 7. Let's check what they want. The box plot summarizes the heights of the players in middle school soccer league. Okay? What are the range and interquartile range of the heights? Oh, they want now what? Oh. So they have 2 questions here. So let's start with a question. What do they want? They want the range, question mark. And they want the IQR, question mark. They want both. Facts. Facts. Oh, they gave me the box plot drawn for me. Que padre, right? So guess what the facts is? The box plot. So I'm going to draw it exactly the way they have it for me already. I don't need the number lines in the bottom. Okay? I'm just going to draw the box plot. So here we go. They have a box. There I drew the box. I noticed that they had a small whisker here, so I'm going to draw that one right there. And the other whisker was a little bit longer, I believe, yes. Okay. Questions? Questions? So you don't have to draw it exactly, más o menos. Now I'm going to fill it up. I like to always begin with a median. Tell me which one is the median. Tell me when to stop. I'm going to run my mouse and you're going to tell me, is that the median? How about this guy? How about this one? How about this one? How about this one? So this guy's the median. Do I know exactly where he's at? So I'm going to más o menos. It'll be what? 46. So it's about 46. Okay. Now. Listen. If this ever happens and they say that they need the median, right now I don't really care because they're not even asking for the what? Median. So even if I'm wrong, I'm okay but here's what you would do. If you want to find who's really in the middle of these two, what should you do with these two? Add and divide by 2. And if you add and divide by 2, guess what I'm going to get? 46. Questions with that? The next thing that I like to get is going to be the upper and the lower quartile. So let me start with the upper quartile, which is right here. What do you think that one is? I'm not sure. And since they mentioned interquartile range, I'm going to say más o menos. I'm gonna for sure check. So how can I check what he is really worth? Who would I use? How could I check how much he's really worth? I would check between 48 and what? 52. So what can I do between 48 and 52? What can I do? Add and divide by 2. Okay? So since it's kind of in the middle of 48 and 52, I'm going to say, okay. I'm going to go to the side. I'm going to say 48 plus 52 gives me 100, right? Yes? And 100 divided by 2, it's 50. So who's the upper quartile? 50. Questions? That's why I want to do this one with you, because they kind of like fell in the middle. So if you're not listening, let me tell you what you're supposed to be doing right now with a pen. I don't know why some of us are talking. Okay? Look. Do I really know where that dot is really? No. But I know it's between 48 and what? 52. So since it's between 48 and 52, I can add those two and divide by 2 so I can really find for who's the between of those two. That's how we got the 50. Questions? You don't go and say, hey, más o menos 49. No, you don't do that. They're between two numbers. That 48 and 50, that line is exactly between two numbers, guys. Between 48 and 52. So to find out who is really between 48 and 52, I need to add and divide by 2. The word between means in the middle. Basically, I'm finding the median of the upper half. Okay? Questions? Now let's go to the other side. Do I really know what that dot is worth right now? Well, he's between who? 40 and what? 44. So what should we do with those two? Add and divide by 2. Go ahead and add and divide by 2. Go ahead and add and divide by 2. How much did you all get? 42? Okay, if I add 40 and 44, that would be 84. 84 divided by 2 would be 42. So now I know that the lower quartile is who? 42. Do you all know why I have to do extra work here? Because those numbers are floating in between numbers. If they're not floating, just go grab it and put them. But because they were floating between two numbers, I had to figure out who's really in the middle of those two numbers so I can find the lower quartile and the upper quartile. The last thing to find is the maximums and the minimum extremes. So who's the maximum? Let's go check our data. Who's the maximum? Who's the maximum? 64. Who's the minimum? 40. The maximum is 64. The minimum is 40. Questions so far? Let's begin with the first question about range. The strategy of the strategy is the box plot, which they already gave it to us. Que padre. Right? So the strategy was box plot, they gave it to us. Now here comes the next one. For range, Angelina, for range, what two numbers do I need? Angelina only. Huh? 50? Is she correct? No. Okay. Christian Relas, what two numbers do I need for range? 64 and 40. Circle it and connect them and put the word range, Angelina, and all the ones that are confused. And what am I going to do with those two? Subtract. I cannot forget, once you see the word range, boom, I'm going to go to the last one and the first one and connect them and subtract.
What? It's 24, bro.
64 minus 40 is 24. Kobe's right again. So what's the range? Range equals 24. I found one answer. But this question had two answers, and we have two questions, so I need two answers. So let's go with Emiliano now. Emiliano, what two numbers do I need for the interquartile range, or also called the IQR? Very good, son. 50 and 42, make the connection and put what word? IQR for interquartile range. And what do we also do with the IQRs? We also subtract. So let's put IQR. Go ahead and subtract and tell me how much you get, guys. Wow, the other Kobe's Bryant number. See, Kobe wore 8 and Kobe wore 24. What a coincidence. Okay. Any questions? Now let me check the choices. Letter A was a range 64. Letter B was a range 24. Letter C was the range 8. Letter D was the range 24. So it's between B and D. Now let's go to the IQR. Was the IQR 8? Was the IQR 4? So the answer in this case would be B. So let's go back and put it on our paper. The answer is B. The way I did number 7, you're going to do right now number 8 before the song is over again. Okay? So let me put the question 8 so you can know what it looks like. There's question 8. I'll pause the video. On this one, students, I'm putting in the video. I'm just making sure that you understand. I don't have to do the add and divide by 2 because we had it exactly, boom, there, exactly there. There's nothing in between. You can see that they're wholes. So there's no need for us to try to find who's really in the middle. For homework, guys, your homework is simple. To go watch this hour video, study it, look at your journal, look how we did today. You can go, listen, you can go to Teacher Made from home if you have access to a device and start transferring those answers into the Teacher Made and practice. Because as soon as you come in tomorrow, I'm going to have a little test about all these type of questions from 1 through 8. I'm also going to have a test on how the parts of the box come. Don't even stand up. Close the door, son. Listen again. Your homework is to go home and study all the questions from 1 through 8. I'm going to ask you questions like that. And it's going to be a 5-question test. 5. We did 8. And there's 2 of a kind of each. So you're going to get 4 from that. And then the 5th question is going to be just a drag and drop the pieces of the box plot. You need to know who's the median, who's the upper quartile, lower quartile, the extremes, the maximums. And that's all you're going to need to know. So there's going to be 5 questions. If you don't study, that's how I'm going to find out you can study and go home and practice. Now, some of you might say, well, I already, with what I did today is enough. I would not risk it. Go home and start learning how to study. Okay? Now, don't even stand up yet.